Se o silêncio dissesse tudo, sentimento bom que me leva pro outro mundo. A vontade de te ver já é maior que tudo. Não existem distâncias no meu novo mundo, tipo coisas da sétima.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Episode 80 of the Clint Cronin Show. Nima Moridi, the Ninja Realtor, is in the house. I'm back in sunny Sunnyvale, California. Happy to be back at AKA Sunnyvale, One World Jiu Jitsu. What's up, Nima? How's it going?
It's going great, man. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy that you're back. I feel like we've both been road tripping for a while here. You being down in Vegas, being the amazing guy you are, and me going to Austin for work and New York for pleasure.
New York's a great place, man. I love Austin. I used to go to 6th Street quite a bit, like high school, college, junior college time. I used to go down there quite a bit. I had some friends that I used to visit, and now the homeboy Kyle Kingsbury is over on it, so you got to go down there and check that out.
Yeah.
Everybody hears about On It Academy through the Joe Rogan experience, and through the different athletes and stuff that go through there. As a fan of all this stuff, as a jiu-jitsu guy, as a kickboxing, striking guy, what was it like to actually step foot in On It? Like, what was it like for you to sort of check it out?
It was such a surreal experience. So thank you so much for helping me out with that and plugging me with Kyle, because, man, that place, I would live there if I lived there, if you know what I mean. That was such an amazing facility, state of the art. I mean, right when you walk in, there's this awesome cafe with these super healthy green smoothies that taste delicious. I mean, they have avocado toast as well, and all of those supplements that you hear Joe Rogan talking about, or you hear like on podcasts and stuff. They have all the selection, so you can choose between apparel and that. So that's just in the front. Then when you go through the doors, the state-of-the-art strength and conditioning room, awesome Bang Muay Thai, Black Swan Yoga, and last but not least, 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu. And they got these guys coming up from San Antonio, 10th Planet, and they're teaching over there. And man, everything is phenomenal. I have a foot injury that I've been nursing on the left leg, unfortunately, so I did not get to do any Muay Thai, but I did drop into Jiu-Jitsu a few times, and it was awesome.
Oh yeah, man. The facility down there is top notch, and just the level of sort of athletes and trainers, and just the wealth of information they have down there. They're always on top of the cutting edge, and the technology, and even the recovery stuff as well. I've been keeping up with Kyle, which he's been going through the stem cell therapy on his knees and stuff, which is pretty crazy. I'm actually looking into it for my neck as well. So the recovery stuff is definitely something that that I'm always trying to keep my finger on the pulse of as well, because I'm getting old and I'm trying to keep my body in one piece and to be able to keep going and everything. But so it was 10th Planet. Was that your first time at a 10th Planet affiliate?
At an affiliate, yeah. Because no, actually, I take that back. No, I went to a Jeff Glover seminar at 10th Planet Walnut Creek. But my very first 10th Planet I went to was headquarters, actually, and I got to train it with Eddie Bravo. That was pretty sick, being able to roll with him, and take his class as well. Super approachable guy, really nice. A lot of similarities. We have some stuff in common, some stuff that not so much, but but yeah, it was awesome, man. And Austin, going back to the On It facility, right next door they have their corporate offices. So you got Kingsbury there, you got Aubrey Marcus. And it's super cool.
I think right around when you were leaving or when you were getting there, they had the Hanato Laranja seminar, right?
Yes. The same. So Hanato's seminar started at 6, and my flight was at 6:15. So it was right then and there. I didn't get to watch it or participate, unfortunately. I was literally contemplating on staying the weekend just because he had his on Friday night, and then the next day they had the On It Invitational. But since I had to work the Santa Clara Art and Wine Festival for real estate, we had a booth there. Conflict of interest, so unfortunately, I did not get to go.
Well, he's not that far, right? He's in SoCal, so going and seeing him, it's not too far, out of the realm of possibility. He's actually somebody I've been talking to for a while about coming and doing a seminar, and he's down. It's just a matter of scheduling it and getting everybody together. And I'm sure if we got everybody sort of rounded up and gauged interest, I'm sure it would sell out pretty quick.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know who he was until your podcast. Actually,
Really?
when I heard him, yeah, I'd never heard of him. People were like, oh my god, it's Sanat. I'm like, I don't know who is that.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah,
he's I think most people figured out who he was through those the vignettes, the little videos they did over at 10th Planet back in the day. They were did you see the first ones that they did, like where he got introduced kind of as a character?
So I haven't seen any of them, but what I did hear was he came off the mat or something, and then like him and Joe Rogan, like apparently like Rogan was like pro pot and he was playing a character that was anti pot, and they were going back and forth with one another about that. That's what somebody told me, but I haven't seen him yet.
So the first one, what they did was they had this guy that it was Renato, and he was kind of being like this macho Brazilian type, like stereotype was what they were playing it up to be. And the gag was they could do this character, but like they didn't want to like be offensive and like go out of their way to go the wrong way to be like derogatory towards like Brazilians. So he had to win. So in the first video, he rolls with Eddie and he gets him like a north-south choke and taps him. So like, and then that was the first sort of introduction to the character, and it kind of caught on from there. And then they were basically they'd have something where Joe Rogan was at the 10th Planet, just kind of after training, he was just like pestering, he was just really bothering him and just like really playing up the accent and like the stereotype. And from there, I mean, like it just took off. Like as the UFC thing got popular, as Joe Rogan, like that fan base grew because he already had a jiu-jitsu fan base, and as that really filled in, like it sort of grew outward, kind of like spread outward to the MMA fans, like they call them like internet fans. Now they're just fans, but like the mixed martial arts, the MMA underground, the Sherdog guys, and then it spawned and blossomed into what it is today, and which is this character that's a parody, and people they have like that like way of talking like him, like a dialect or whatever.
27-time world champion in jiu-jitsu or something like that.
It's funny. Well, he's been on here. He's been on this podcast. So
yeah.
I should say, well, yeah, he's been on here. Like I went and rented a studio in Hollywood, and he came out, and Kita. It's pretty cool. So Kita Maggette she was on the show at the same time. This is like 2 years ago now. And she's gone on to start this Team Bully Buster, this basically like anti-bullying themed self-defense, like martial arts, fitness gym in LA, in the LA area. But also she's on an episode of this an HBO show.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And then her WoW like pro wrestling thing she's doing, like that took off pretty good too. So like her career's really blossomed. So I mean, as an alum, as two alum of the Clint Cronin show, clearly I'm happy to be a launch pad for two of their rising stars. Yeah, I'm being facetious obviously, but it's cool to see that they're doing really well. And she was actually Kita was just on Joey the Church of What's Happening Now like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's Joey Diaz's podcast?
Yeah. Well, they were already everybody knows each other through like Eddie and 10th Planet. And just that whole Jean-Jacques circle and stuff. Yeah. And it's a cool crew, man. It's a really nice group of people. They're all funny. Already funny. So
speaking of Joe Rogan, I watched the Netflix special last night, and I texted you about this because as I was watching, I'm like, wait, why do I know all these jokes from? I'm like, no, this is a new special. That's impossible. And then I remembered when I went down to the Comedy Store that last time I was in LA, when I went to 10th Planet, we popped in to see Tom Segura and Chris D'Elia, and then surprise guest Joe Rogan. And I'm assuming he was getting ready for that special in Boston because he used all those jokes. He was probably preparing, huh?
Yeah, we kind of talked about that the other day. So it's like, I don't really do bars. So the only bar I can say I'm actually a regular at would be a Comedy Store in Hollywood. It's crazy. Like it would get to the point where I would see people like the people at the door, the security, back by the original room, like that. They'd recognize me. Don't even ID me anymore. And not because I'm old, damn it. They're like, oh, hey, come on in. But yeah, so Chris D'Elia is always there, or he was when I was. Which is quite a lot of times. And Yeah, it's not really like a surprise guest, Joe Rogan, because like that's his home, man. You see his car, like there's only been a couple times where I've like gotten there and I didn't see his car parked down the side right there.
He has that Porsche, right?
Yeah,
He's big on Porsches.
Yeah, it's like that flat color.
It's like matte.
Yeah,
Matte. Matte.
Yeah, that or it's just like it just wasn't that shiny at nighttime. You know who else has that flat color is Henner. Because he has a Tesla, and his was like that flat color as well, like the not shiny at all.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
I think it's
matte,
like plasti dipped or something maybe, or like had like a vinyl over it.
Sometimes I see like the Lamborghinis, and I've seen those G wagons. I like those a lot.
Which ones?
And they have like matte the Mercedes. They're like those boxy Mercedes SUVs.
Yeah.
Yeah, those come in those matte colors too. Those are pretty dope. But yeah, when we went down over there, I was walking to the bathroom, and then there was that other room, and I saw Ali Wong, that lady that plays the Asian pregnant woman.
She's funny.
Yeah, she's really funny. Yeah, she was just killing it too around the corner when Rogan was going. I'm like, dude, like, there's a lot of talent here. This is cool.
Well, because they have the belly room, the original room, and the main room, and at any given time, you can be like hard pressed to go to either one of the shows because there's always something good going on. Like they'll have Death Squad and a lot of those guys doing their thing. I think like Eddie's over there sometimes too, and like in other clubs as well. Like I think he's in like the La Brea or whatever. There's some comedy scene down there as well.
Is it the Improv?
Maybe.
Yeah, because I heard of that one. I've heard of the Irvine Improv.
Is there Irvine?
Yeah.
Oh, Irvine's where they had the what the hell is it? The
Spectrum, the Irvine Spectrum. That's over there. That's a pretty nice shopping center that they have down over there. My cousins live down over there, so I've been there a few times. Went to dinner there. It's nice. It's cute. It's quaint.
Irvine. What was the jiu-jitsu tournament we went to down there? Was it Pans or was it Nogi Worlds or something? It was one of those.
It was the University of California, Irvine, right?
Yeah,
Irvine?
Because the one was at the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, but there was another one. So one of the tournaments is there, and one of them was in Irvine. The biggest one I've been to was a month or so ago was Masters Worlds.
Oh, the one in Vegas.
That was the most people I've ever seen at a jiu-jitsu thing ever.
Yeah, like how many would you say estimate?
Like Comic-Con size thing, big.
I haven't been.
Convention center. Las Vegas Convention Center filled one of the like the big halls.
Like, damn. Like, would you say more than like 3,000 people?
Yeah. Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. What you had was kind of funny. There's a gi tournament going on. There's Masters Worlds, which is like a week long, like legit week. And then they also have this kids jiu-jitsu tournament that's over on the side, but then over on the other side. So there's like booths for everything. There's tons of vendors and food or whatever. But there's also this bodybuilding competition going on the day I was there, which is the last day, of black belts or whatever.
You know what that reminds me of, right? That fucking expo thing that we went to, that Fit Expo.
So this was like that, but more. Remember how it was like just like a little like kid size like playground of jiu-jitsu, and that the whole thing was just like steroidy people.
Yeah.
I mean, the politically correct version of what I just said, but what I meant to say is what I meant to say. No, man, it's just funny because you had all these people and like they're dead serious about this, and I'm not like trying to knock it or whatever. It's just they're wearing like bikinis and Speedos, and they have no body fat, and they're orange, and they're all like holding their breath, and they're all standing there like with their fingertips all like extended, like they're about to get sprayed, and it's just, and then you have all these other people like they're all grimy and geese and shit. And it's just like you're seeing both, like you're seeing the fake spray tan, the spiky hair, and like they're shredded.
Yeah. But
it's so weird to see like the contrast and like the different types of ways people can abuse their body for sport.
Totally. And right now, as you're saying that, I'm making the connection between the two, and I'm thinking about the people who have kind of crossed into both of those, and I can think of Alan Joban, our Luke Rockhold, of course, aka Zone, doing the modeling, you know what I mean, like the underwear model or whatever, and then being a freaking Luke Rockhold, who former middleweight champion. He's won He's won Nogi Worlds too, I think.
Luke?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he won Nogi Worlds at some point too. I think like maybe 10 years ago, something like that. I think he's had his black belt now for like 6 years or something. But yeah. So yeah, it makes me think of those guys. Who else is a model? Who else models? Do you know any models? Any jiu-jitsu guys? Anyone comes to mind? Did Mackenzie Dern ever model?
I mean, technically she's modeling now, right? I mean,
oh yeah, like endorsements, like so like sponsors and stuff like that. You mean?
Sure. I mean, she's on covers of stuff, and she's certainly being used for that purpose.
Promos and shit.
Yeah.
Man, that's true.
So a lot of them, right? Ronda Rousey was on the cover of that ESPN magazine. Like she was, wasn't she just like wearing paint in one of the photo things?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I think she was like mostly nude and wearing like some paint thing in like one of the.
So that's kind of like modeling, yeah, for sure.
Of course, it's exactly modeling. She's modeling, acting, and stuff. So, but just straight jiu-jitsu that did modeling, like I don't know, any one of us assholes with the sponsorship stands around, takes pictures of something.
I'm trying to think of who's like a clothing model, like let's say like Abercrombie or Calvin Klein. So Alan Joban for sure. I believe that Canadian guy, Elias Tudreau, I think his last name is. I'm pretty sure he's at a TriStar. He's like a model up there too.
Like they're around. We have the one dude's an actor from One World, right? He makes like those funny faces sometimes. He moved to LA, but he came back.
Really?
I'm bad at names, man.
Fuck,
that's really rude. I should remember his name. Like I just didn't interact with him that often. He's really nice though. He's a purple belt.
Was he at the headquarters or was he at AKA?
No, he's a One World guy. One World.
One World, okay.
See, that's the thing. Like, I'm not there that much, right?
Yeah.
Because that commute over to Newark is kind of a son of a bitch.
Yeah, it is. It's hard too because, I mean, who doesn't want to train more with Mike? I wish I can train with him all the time. For me, he's there. I know he's there in the mornings, and that's usually when I'm at work, And then in the evening, since the class starts at 6:30 and it goes till 8:30, right? I don't get to see Mike that often. So like last time I was there, I talked to him until 9. By the time I got home and I showered, it was 10. So when I had dinner at 10 o'clock, my wife was at that time. My wife was like, "F you," like you're not doing this again. Because I got home so late, you know what I mean? So that's the hardship for me in getting there too because of the traffic. So.
Yeah, it's funny. So a lot of gyms that I've been to in other places, their classes start a little bit later, and I feel like that's more agreeable to a lot of people that they have day jobs. I mean, if you're training full time, you're training full time. That's when you're going to go when you're going to go. You're going to go. Like training is when it is, and that's your job, whatever. But
right.
If you're doing the commute thing and you have a day job and you're trying to balance work and training, finding a place that's either near your home or in the trajectory between home and work, and it fits that schedule is a big deal. Before and during or after, whenever you can fit it. But the schedule we have right now, that 5:30 p.m. stuff, it's like it's not always the easiest thing to do. That's what spawned me doing the 6:30 a.m. class. Like look, no matter what, I'll be able to get at least this many days of training in,
right,
for sure. And then
Guaranteed.
Everything else to be extra, and then turned out to be like, no, fuck that. I'm just gonna still, do it every day and twice a day, 2 or 3 times a week, and it's like that's just the commitment I made a long time ago, and just I just stuck it out, and now it's normal. So, it's people are like, oh, how do you make time, or how do you find time? It's like, you make the time. But yes, I've been to a lot of places where schedules would start a little later. In Brazil, jiu-jitsu class would start like much later. I think it had to do with traffic and just work schedules and stuff, and then the heat.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
It was so hot at like 5 o'clock. They would have classes at 8 or 9 even.
Yeah.
So
that makes that makes sense. I can see that. When I went to Cron Gracie's gym, the class, it was like at 7 o'clock, and I thought that was the worst ever.
PM?
Because, 7 p.m. The worst time ever, in my opinion. Why? Because, what time are you going to eat dinner, right? You got to give yourself time for the food to digest before you train. So it's just like, damn, what am I going to do? Eat dinner at 5:30? That sucks.
So
or wait until 10?
Here's the difference. That time, based on the temperature in LA and the traffic being so much worse than here, right? If you live there, that 7 o'clock time would be pretty fucking sweet, right?
Yeah.
Because for you to get off of work, like you'd probably be eating on the way home or something, and then you'd have like an extra dinner, like a small dinner, like after that. But yeah, traffic in LA, it's even harder.
You make a good point, and I also am self-employed, so it's kind of like I can make, okay, fine, well, I'm going to go work over there to beat the traffic, So not everybody. I'm fortunate for that.
Yeah, like there's I hear a lot of guys like, oh, if I lived in LA, I would train here, I would train there. I'm like, really? Because that's a really expensive place to live. Where whatever.
Yeah. It's taking 3 hours to get there and just sit in the car.
Yeah, or the other misconception of I hear people want to take jiu-jitsu vacations to SoCal, like to San Diego to LA. Mm-hmm. Cool, and then they list off all these gyms that they're going to go to, and I'm like, yeah, that's like 6 places that you just mentioned. You're probably going to one. And you're not going to 2 in the same day, and if you do, they're miraculously must be near each other. Mm-hmm. And it's not like that. Like in New York City, you can hit up Henzo's and Marcelo Garcia's in the same day because they're within 1 mile of each other.
Yes.
You cannot do that in LA. Like John Jacques and Gracie Academy and whatever, they're far. Like Cobrinha, like they're all far from each other.
Yeah.
And not geographically, but like traffically.
Yeah. No, you're right. That makes sense. And in New York, like I wanted to go to train with Matt Young at Fabio Clemente's gym first, right? Because since he was over there, so that was like I'm going to go here first. And then the other days I wanted to go hit Dizzo, but it was very difficult to get around, just because like you're in a taxi. But that's like city life for you. When I go to San Diego, so I'm planning on going in December, but there's a strong but. There's an asterisk there. If EBI is going on in Austin, I'm thinking about just going to that because I really, really want to go to EBI, see it live, and the fact that it's going to be in Austin, that'd be really cool. But San Diego, Clinton, another Clint Cronin show alum, Boogeyman Martinez, baby.
You got to go there, but also his brother.
Gio, yeah.
You can go see Gio.
10 Planet Freaks.
You can go see him. You got to go see Eduardo Telles as well.
Okay.
Because they're all friends. Like they sort of train together anyway.
Yeah. What about what's his name? Galvao. He's there too. Yeah.
That's not exactly San Diego, right? So that's Atos, and Atos. I thought that was like in that kind of middle spot between LA, San Diego.
Oh, Riverside.
Something like that. Yeah, I might be wrong. I'm talking on my ass. The other one that's Clark Gracie's down there. That's where our buddy Dave's brother is. Right, he's one of his black belts. So that's definitely a good place to train. You can learn how to do that omoplata. Remember the photo? There is a model, Clark Gracie. Remember
Clark Gracie's a good model.
Well, I'm not going to say accidentally, but incidentally, like he went viral. He was like the viral jiu-jitsu guy because he did this omoplata thing where he was like hanging off the guy's arm and like posting. He's just like kind of Zoolander like posed at the camera. Yeah, and it was like the most photogenic thing anyone's ever done in a gi.
Dude, that's pretty sick. And what else is pretty sick is I'm definitely going to stalk Dave Sand's brother because I want to see just how their mannerisms are. How similar they are. I'm just going to watch him. I'm like, dude, like, let's go to lunch. And he's probably going to be like, who are you, you weirdo? I'm like, I'm your brother's like homie, brother from another mother. So by default, you and I have to be best friends. And then I just want to hang out with him and watch how his mannerisms are similar to his brother.
I went shooting with both of them, I think, and he's pretty quiet. Also, like they both have similar posture and like sort of demeanor. There's different like kind of quirks and stuff. I'm sure. Like I haven't spent as much time around his brother, but for sure, there's like they both have like that. They look serious.
Okay.
And just very observant, right? But yeah, they're
I thought that was because of Dave's work, but okay. So it's like a. What is it? Did the chicken come first or the egg? As they say. So I guess that was his personality. That's interesting.
I think they just have like that. They look serious, and like if you don't know them, you might not really know how to read them. But like once you kind of get to know them a little bit, the guy doesn't speak frivolously. Like it's like they speak like very deliberately. I think is a good way to put it. Like, Or like they're mindful. Like you could tell like he like collects.
I can see that. That guy's a freaking. You're right though. Like more quiet, but freaking sweetheart. Yeah, you are.
It's not even that he's necessarily very quiet. I just think when he wants to talk about like something he's interested in or like something he has a strong opinion on, he isn't quiet.
That's true.
But he's like he doesn't speak like frivolously. I think he just he does.
That's a good way of putting it.
I don't know. I have different different sort of levels. I can be like that, and I can be just off the wall and just really loud too. It just depends. Man, so the EBI in Austin, is that going to be at the actual academy, or where's that going to be?
I'm pretty sure it's at the academy.
Crazy.
Yeah, and if that's the case, bro, Clinton, we got to make it happen.
Austin, huh?
Yeah, Dave's down too.
I think sure Dave's down. It's funny.
Dude, I mean, Austin is sick. I can't wait to go back over there. I really want to go. If it is, and I think it would be a great experience. And, Kyle's down there too. Being able to hang out over there, being able to train at on a facility, I'm sure you would like that. It'd be really fun.
She's gonna get mad at me. I'm like, hey, Clint sent me. I'm like, hey. It's 2 years. It's enough. So what is we have Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor's this Saturday.
Yep.
I'm not going. I want to go see the quintet live. I want to go to that.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool too.
But the
Uriah Faber.
Yeah, it looks cool. I know Frank Mir's on the card. There's quite a few guys.
Dustin Akbari.
Isn't Boogeyman on it too, or something? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Boogeyman was on it too. Yeah.
Oh man, that was I don't know. I was all emotional watching like him and Sakuraba, like he beat Sakuraba, and just like see I know like what a sweetheart Boogeyman is like.
Yeah.
I know like how big of a fan he is, how much respect he has for him, but like I know it had to be a sweet victory, but like I think deep down like it had to be like kind of like hard to do. Like, like somebody like to beat somebody like that you do have so much respect for, that you are a fan of, that you grew up watching.
No, you're right. You're right.
Like, I was wondering like because he subbed him, so it's like I wonder what that was like.
Gordon Hyan's gonna be on it too.
Gordon Ryan's on Quintet.
Yeah.
Who's he going against? Because it's like that team kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I still have to kind of okay. So the team alpha male for Quintet 3 is going to be Kelly. Gordon Ryan just replaced Kelly, right?
I'm confused because I don't know why he's under the team alpha male when he's with Henzo.
Because he is. Whatever. I mean, Dustin Akbari, that guy competes a lot. Uriah Faber, Munch, and Antoine Jaoud. I'm not even Antoine.
He's probably a fellow French.
All right.
So Quintet, but yeah. So this fight, man, I'm looking forward to this one. This is your classic striker versus grappler. That's going to be really cool. And the co-main event's not getting much love, but dude, come on, Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis, El Cucuy, and Showtime.
It's going to be a great fight. It's one that a lot of people probably don't even know is happening. That even though it's a big fight, it's being overshadowed by the Conor and Khabib thing. Yeah. The shame of the
Smash time.
The real shame, and it's so first of all, like Conor made so much money in his last 2 outings, the last one specifically, and all the craziness going on with the lawsuit and stuff.
Yeah,
lawsuits of the Dolly incident with the buses. Like he hasn't wanted to do any of the media tours.
Yeah, IRA's after him or some shit, or Irish gangs and.
So I don't want to be in that building. And it's so probably some of it's for show, but the press conference shit, like it seemed like kind of like deep cuts. Like it was some personal stuff back and forth, and bringing up Putin and bringing up like his father and all the it's already like a very tense situation to the people that like are from those countries.
Yeah,
like you're bringing like these Dagestan military folks up, and you're bringing up like people in like Chechnya, alleged warlords and whatever, and it's like
the rebels.
Yeah, maybe
the Southern Russian republics. They come up, man, grinding their teeth, bro. That's Compton is like Beverly Hills or something like that compared to what those guys. It's like either I will try to be a Sambo champion or I'm gonna go into like terrorism, literally. Because I mean they're so impoverished, and they have a lot of people allege the Kremlin of not really taking care of them, and they helped the Russians fight, and they were promised to get their independence, which they never ended up getting. So, you know, like they have just a lot of poverty. So unfortunately, because of that comes ignorance, right? Which results in terrorism and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a really hard place in the world.
Well, let's just say for the sake of argument that potentially some of it is the showbiz thing, then they're trying to ruffle each other's feathers and stuff. But even if they're cool, like Conor and Khabib backstage are cool, even if they are, which I don't think they are, I really don't.
Yeah.
But even if they are, and on a professional level, they're both going to make lots and lots of money off this thing. First of all, not as much as they could because they're not doing the pressers. They're really not doing the press tour like they did with previous fights. So, like, this is going to be worth less money. They're going to have less buys because of it. Internationally, this thing's going to do gangbusters. They're going to do great business. I think there's gonna, like the betting on this is going to be crazy. Probably
Western Europe versus Eastern Europe, bro.
Sure,
right?
But what I'm worried about is potential backlash, violence with fans or camps and stuff during and after the fight. Like, I just don't want to be in the building.
Have you watched the countdown yet?
I watched some of it.
It was cool. Like they had a lot of parts in San Jose. But what was really interesting is they made it look like prairies and stuff, like it was Texas. So, I don't know. For that, like they showed a lot of livestock and like the rolling hills of Dagestan reminds Khabib of the rolling hills of stuff. What the hell are you guys talking about? Like I'm born and raised in this town. I have no idea what you're talking about. They filmed a lot of it in that area. It seemed like they filmed a lot of it in that area between San Jose and Morgan Hill.
Yeah, I was gonna say like they're like over by Gilroy at the garlic farm.
Right. Yeah. But you watch it and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, wait, that area, like where are you guys? And I'm like, that has to be in that little pass area where it's zoned accordingly, where you can't build and there's some open land. But other than that, I mean, where do you find open land in San Jose? I should know. I buy and sell real estate for a living.
Yeah, there's not much of that. It's like, and even those rolling hills, there's bumper to bumper traffic rolling through those hills.
Yes,
because that's the fucking 101 on either side of it, or
exactly.
You know, the 152. Where the you know it's beautiful except for all the exhaust and the pavement and the smell of garlic.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's, you know where the IBM campus is? Like it was in that vicinity over there. Quicksilver, those trails. It was back up over there.
Because if you drive out down the 101 towards the AKA headquarters over there, you know, Bernal or Realm or whatever, if you look in the right direction, like you'll see a hill or two.
Yeah. The Santa Teresa County Park.
Yeah,
you're right.
You have that, but generally it's suburbs and mini city. I mean, you get 1 million people, but it's spread out over so much land. It's like it doesn't feel like a city the way like a Dallas or something does, you know, or even San Francisco's not that big.
You're right.
It's
I mean,
sprawling. You know, there's long.
Think of you're right. I mean, San Francisco, right, being 7 miles by 7 miles, and I think the population now is like maybe in the low 800s. The city of San Jose has a little over 1 million, and then you got to think of Sunnyvale where you live. You got to think of Campbell. You got to think of You got to think of Saratoga. You got to think of Cupertino, et cetera, et cetera.
They're all pretty much San Jose.
Yeah,
though.
Right. Yeah, Milpitas, Alviso. Take all of these into consideration, and in Santa Clara County. Then we got to figure out the population. You know what? I'm going to check that on Wikipedia.
The entire Bay Area, I thought it was like 3 point something million.
I might be wrong. I thought it was 6 million.
Really?
But I don't know if I'm right.
Because like Berkeley's not that big. And then you're left with like a bunch of surrounding cities. You basically have Oakland, San Jose, San Francisco. 2 of those are under 1 million people, under 1 million, and then one has over 1 million, but barely, like 0.9 to like 1.1 million for San Jose.
Okay.
Then you're left with all like the suburb, city, towns, or whatever in between. But there's so many of them. But I think the majority of them have like 10, 20,000 people.
The way I see it, I think it's probably somewhere in the middle of where we said. Maybe
between 3 and 6.
Yeah, but I know, yeah, but closer to what you said. So I just Wikipedia right now for Santa Clara County, and it's close to 2 million. It's under that. It's 1.9 mil, but
which one?
It's just for Santa Clara County, 1.9 mil.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, you take that into consideration, right? Like we have, it's a huge population.
It's funny. There's the number of people in the Bay Area, right? Because San Francisco is 800,000, but the entire Bay Area, if we even decide is whatever many million people, like thinking about like countries like Brazil, how there's like a dozen cities that you don't even know the name of,
right?
Have more people than that.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about because I watched Ultimate Fighter Brazil, and on Fight Pass, and it's like a district and then Rio de Janeiro, whatever, right, and then the state.
Yep.
right? So it's like boom, boom, boom. I mean, I've never been. You have. So, I mean, you obviously know this better than I do, but I noticed that.
Yeah, like I would be in Goiânia, Brazil quite a bit. And I think that has something like 3 million people just on its own. And most people don't even know that town exists.
Yeah.
You know, and like there's lots of them. You know what I'm saying? There's lots and lots of them. And then like there's other countries like that all around the world. They just have a lot of people slammed. And Brazil's a big place, but you have like high population density for some places like that as well, where it's just like tons of people.
In Iran, Tehran, the capital, it's the same way. Like you said, it's literally like 9 cities that encompass Tehran. You know, there's like the districts, and then they have the name, just like what you said. Like one of their districts can be as big as the city of Campbell. One of the districts can be as big as the city of Los Gatos. You know, so it's like that.
Yeah, it's so funny. I was actually he brought up Renato Laranja's Instagram earlier, and I was looking through it, and he has like so many random references. I clicked on one that he posted from like it was like a couple promo interviews from the Iron Sheik, and I'm just listening to him, and I'm like, why did he post this? Like, what the fuck did he like? He's just him like yelling, and I can't understand most of what he's saying. He's just like yelling. It's like some interview from the '80s or whatever, and I'm like. Yeah,
he was always a walking piece of irony for me because, I mean, he did, you know, talking about show business, he did such a good job of tapping into American anger at the time, especially this is, you know, after the hostage crisis, after the revolution in Iran that brought my parents here. But it was so funny because Iron Sheik, we don't, in Iran, you don't have sheiks because, you know, it's Sunni Islam and Iran is a Shia Islam country. So you have the guy, you know, like the president that you see that he has on his head. Nobody has that circle thing and the white garb. Those are all.
Wouldn't that have been an Iraqi thing?
Yes, Gulf states predominantly. Yes, and Saudi Arabia, right? Because it's a very ethnic Sunni tribal garb. So it was very interesting to me because, you know, at that time, of course, there was American anger. You know, with Iran, you know, because of what happened and everything, the hostage crisis. But Iran was also fighting Iraq at the time as well. So I felt like a lot of Iranians would be offended by him dressing like a non-Iranian.
So it's really funny. They actually repackaged and reused him about 10 years later during the Gulf War.
Really?
When it went from Desert Storm to Desert Shield to Desert Storm, they repackaged him and they took him. They called him like General Adnan or like Colonel Mustafa, and they made him Iraqi. They basically made him part of like this like fake Iraq military guy.
Yeah,
and they paired him with this guy that was actually childhood friends like with Saddam Hussein, and they put him with the guy that used to be the GI Joe dude, Sergeant Slaughter. And they were like they literally were going to do WrestleMania where it was going to be Sergeant Slaughter who defected to Iraq against Hulk Hogan, who was the American hero, and they were going to do it in this giant outdoor stadium in LA, but they were shut down and they had to go to a much smaller building, like way smaller, like think like 7 times less people, because there was like all these threats of like, dude, if you do this shit, because they were going to burn the flag on TV.
Oh yeah,
like so they wanted.
So it was sensitive to a lot of people.
It was. There were death threats, all kinds of shit. And there were like threats of like basically the city of Los Angeles police were like, dude, we can't contain this.
Yeah. You guys are making our lives difficult here.
Because they were going to burn a flag, and then last minute they wound up just getting they made a flag of like Hulk Hogan's shirt, but they were going to burn the American flag on TV. So like as a thing, and it was actually
pay-per-view buys.
It was Jesse Ventura's idea to do it. Just like to push
somebody who ran for president.
To push the envelope, right? Well, because it was made legal. It wasn't always, you couldn't always do that.
Oh, okay. I never knew that.
Yeah. Jesse Ventura is an interesting guy.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it.
I didn't realize it, but on the anniversary of 9/11, I was like on my YouTube, I was listening to like old Jesse the Body Ventura, some interviews he did, because you know he's like kind of polarizing when it comes to things like 9/11 and you know conspiracy theories and things like that. And I'm playing it, and I'm like, I arrived at the bank, and I have Jesse Ventura on my car stereo, right? And my windows are down a little bit, and he's like going on and on about like, you know, he believes that 9/11 is a conspiracy, all this stuff, and you know, the other towers. And I'm like, this is the anniversary of 9/11. Like, I'm gonna wind up in a fight.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not really wanting to have this argument with some like random stranger at the bank, and I'm like, maybe I'll turn the volume down like just a little bit.
Yeah.
But
like, it's just information. I'm just listening. Doesn't mean I agree.
Yeah, it was just funny. I guess because it was 9/11, it like came up on like the trending stuff, like because he has like very outspoken views and all that stuff.
Does he still live in Mexico?
I think he does, like down in like Baja Peninsula or whatever.
So speaking of Mexico, I saw this thing on Vice News a while back, and I actually thought of you. So remember we were talking about Iron Sheik and playing into that emotion. There's an American wrestler in Mexico who is supposed to be like Donald Trump, and he walks around and he's like, America first, America, you know, like that, like build the wall, like he'll just yell like that.
Yeah, he'll do Trump.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know who he is.
Oh wow,
yeah,
okay.
When I was working with Pro Wrestling Revolution, like they booked him over there all the time. What they did before Trump even was elected, they had a group of people that they called the Border Patrol. One of the guys from Border Patrol is like the top guy in Impact Wrestling and like Lucha Underground now, Brian Cage. The guy's like a monster.
Okay.
Like you see him, he's just like, he doesn't look like a real person. He's like, he was a bodybuilder or whatever, but like the guy's huge, like the muscle mass is insane. He was in this Border Patrol group, and it was this Mexican wrestling company, like Lucha Libre thing. But these were like white dudes, and their whole thing was like they dressed up like fucking Border Patrol, like La Migra. And the fans would throw shit out, and they get so mad because like they'd like come out and like ask people for their papers and stuff.
Oh
like,
my
god! They would fuck with the fans. And stuff. And like, they would always like they would be the bad guys, and like then they'd like the Mexican hero guy would have the mask on. And they try to take the mask away. He's like, we need your identification, no mask, and the whole thing. And like
playing into that emotion.
Yeah, like one of those guys. He's like one of the top wrestlers like in the world right now. Like you know in terms of like you know success or popularity, whatever. But the Trump thing was part of that originally, I think as well.
That's funny, man.
It's like Son of Trump is what is what the character is. It's just funny. It's just some white dude that just says he's Donald Trump's son.
I mean, it's that stuff sells, right? That when you tap into people's emotions like that, you can get them into. I mean, how many times have people bought a boxing match like that Floyd Mayweather was going to fight on to watch him lose? But he's still making money off of them, right?
Like halfway through his career, like I think after the hand injuries is really when that started to like happen. Like once he stopped being kind of like Floyd, the moving forward sort of like the guy that was like, you know, I don't want to say like a knockout artist.
Counterboxer.
He wasn't really that. He turned into one. Like he turned really into a point fighter and like more elusive and more like into movement.
Defensive.
And, defensive. Like and like he would punch when it mattered.
Yeah.
Like, he threw the number of strikes, the right number to be accurate. He didn't throw punches like he didn't waste energy.
Yeah.
And he did a really good job of not getting hit. I thought he was a pretty smart fighter. You know, as he got older, he adjusted, and he does have you know suspect hands now. Like he's broken his hand many times, wrists, whatever. So
he has this hand masseuse or whatever that comes every day and massages his hand. Whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm like, what type of talent does that take? But okay.
He has a barber on staff just all the time as part of his entourage.
Oh.
That's a bald man. Like literally, the job is a bic. Like I go to his personal barber has a fucking barber shop off. It's off of Durango and I think Warm Springs in Vegas. It's like iced out barber shop or something. Like that's where I go and get my hair cut when I'm in Vegas. And there's all this Mayweather stuff all over the wall.
That's funny.
They're really nice.
Yeah,
but that's his personal barber's shop.
My friend, we're gonna have a good time at the end of the month in Vegas. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be like when I fly over there. It's going to be a little less than 2 weeks before U.S. Open. So I would love to. So I'm going there for work, obviously. Right, I got a few days of seminars during the day, but in the evenings, even if I have to leave a little early, I have no problem with it. We got to jump in your boy, another Clint Cronin alum, Robert Drysdale. We got to go see him, and we got to see Tom Lawler as well.
You got a lot of guys out
Syndicate.
there.
We got to go to Syndicate.
Vinny's out there. I think where's the Extreme Couture?
Yeah. Do you think he would get upset if I brought my Renato Larange, Rash Guard, and asked to take a picture with him?
No.
Okay, good. Because they're like friends, right? Like it's just like a joke.
They're like very good friends.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole it's all a joke.
Okay, because like I'm gonna be like in his class and like on my back is a photo of him with an X through it.
No, they're no. Jenny's really cool. He's really nice. No, they're dude. None of that stuff's serious. It's meant to be that way. It's
joking around. Huh?
Yeah. Like why would no?
Yeah,
No.
you went to a seminar at Sabre, didn't you?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I got to roll him for a little bit. He's
That's
cool.
so sick, man. Yeah, I had to work that day. But I mean, Vinny coming up to the Bay, I'm like, oh man, I want to see that.
He's up. Where did I see him before? He did the San Jose Open. He wound up. Elliot Kelly beat him.
Elliot Kelly,
The dude from he's from Davis, I think.
okay. So is he with Alpha Male?
Sort of. No, I'm sorry. He's a Yamaso guy. Marcus Torgrosa.
Sacramento?
That area.
Okay, yeah.
He's his own thing. Like he has his own people. He's under it, but he has his own students.
I see. Okay. I've trained at Cassio's gym before, but not that one.
You know, Alex from AKA Sunnyvale was like, I think he trained with Cassio Wernick like a long time ago too.
I got the plug from Janice.
No?
Yeah. Janice Lee.
Oh yeah. So she sent you over there?
Janice Lee's brother-in-law is his brother, something like that. One of those things. Yeah. But basically, yeah. So made the introduction and all that stuff. So I went and trained over there. So it was pretty nice. So you remember we were talking about like LA and like, let's say here in the Bay Area, which, the temperature can be a little more mild, which is good. And not having AC, the jiu-jitsu schools. Yeah. Cassio Wernick doesn't either. Only problem is he's in Sacramento.
Oh, it's much hotter, right?
Yes. I was fucking dying. It was over 100 degrees.
So the key is to take the no-gi classes or wear a light gi.
Yeah, or like you said, go late, right? Like what they do in Brazil. Because, bro, I went there, like it was early August.
So finding gyms that have like the later hours or earlier hours are good, before noon, obviously, and then after, whenever sundown is. That's great. In lieu of that, you can always try the basic from Want versus Need. It's a lightweight, durable gi. Styling and profile, it comes in blue, white, or black. All three IBJJF approved colors for competition. You can get that at wantversusneed.com, wantvsneed.com.
I might need that actually for the competition.
It's cheap. It's only $130. So
that can be my competition gi.
It's you can wear it every day. But if you're doing the summer stuff or you're competing or just a travel gi because it doesn't take nearly as much space up.
That's dope.
It's the one basically. So Al and CJ, well, no, it was just Al and Ryan from Want versus Need. They were over at Masters Worlds, and yeah, it was Al bringing me blue, one of those basic gis from it's called the basic, but it ain't basic. It's an awesome gi. Like it was them bringing me that gi in Las Vegas that actually got me to go back and start training gi a little bit. I'd been doing no gi basically only because it was so hot there. Just regular gis, I was still overheating, and it takes you a little bit to acclimate, right? And so I was just doing a lot of no-gi. I was just I've been training at Syndicate quite a bit, just doing the no-gi stuff with Tom.
I was wondering why you're doing so much no-gi. Now it makes sense because
it's fucking hot.
Yeah, you're not a big because I always thought. Correct me if I'm wrong. I always thought of you as not. I mean, you do no-gi, but I didn't think you were that big into it. I thought you were much more comfortable in the gi. So I'm like, wow, why is he doing so much no-gi for?
It depends. Like so on my Monday morning classes here, that's a no-gi class, the 6:30 one. Mm-hmm. So we do Monday no-gi, Wednesday, Friday is gi. It's just.
Do you have class on Tuesday?
Tuesday, Thursday, we do striking.
Okay,
time.
Cool. That's pretty cool. I like how you guys do that. You guys have that little setup, especially for the people that can't get in at 10:30 or they can't get in at 5:30 because their jobs,
Yeah, and if you can, get in also because it's more training.
Or if you're an early bird.
Yeah, or if you're on crystal meth.
Or if you're on crystal meth, yeah.
I remember Mike Prudencio, like our one of our instructors, or our main instructor, he
the skipper.
I think he brought up. He's like, yeah, Clint's got a class at 4:30 a.m. Like just joking around. I'm like, oh, it's the meth. Like, the look on his face. I'm like, hey, if you got a stupid joke, I got a stupid joke.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, dude, I mean, whatever, by any means necessary, right? Or
No, don't come to my class with crystal meth. I'll fucking kick your ass. Like that's like I
get like methed out. Like, how can you tell? Like, would I be scratching my face? Like, I remember the Chappelle thing, Tyrone, or no, that was crack.
That was crack. Yeah. No, also don't come to my class on crack. Like, you can't come to my class on crack or meth.
Damn it! Then how the hell am I supposed to get up that early?
You're gonna have to not.
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I go on my runs at 6, but my problem is, I mean, it's a personal issue. But if we had showers, I would definitely do it because, I can train in your class, and I would always rather do more jiu-jitsu. Shower up, and then my office is a mile and a half away. But our situation would be, okay, go to your class in traffic, drive back home through traffic, shower, then drive back in traffic to the office.
Oh man, you got to go over and we have enough of our younger training partners, students, whatever, at that 24-hour fatness where they could hook up a membership pretty damn cheap. So I've managed to like somehow swindle memberships or guest access to like all the 24s, but now I got access to like Orange Theory also.
Wow.
So I can go to the really nice showers in the Cupertino Orange Theory. So I'm going to start doing that.
There you go.
Just, because I have a water bill where I live. I don't know about you, but I got to pay a water bill.
See, I don't have to pay a water bill at my spot. But the thing is that...
yeah, we bougie. We got water bill.
Yeah, but it ain't cheap. And... But it includes some nice amenities, which I pay for. And I'm the type of guy, I'm always thinking ROI. I'm a businessman, right? So I'm always going to sit there and I'm going to think of profit and loss statement. Like, that's how I see most crap, right? It's like a P&L statement. The amenities I get, like the pool, for example, the spa, multiple gyms, right? Obviously, they factor that into the rent. So that's why I use it. So for me, it would be difficult to, let's say, get a membership at 24 or... a gym like that, even though it's cheap, just because I already pay for that stuff.
So here's the thing. If you start traveling more like the Austins and the New Yorks and stuff, having that membership becomes invaluable because if there's layovers or if you have if you have delays for your flights, if you're out of town and you're like, that could be the difference between having to shell out for another hotel day. That could be the difference between having to you know what I mean? So
you're right.
If your flight's delayed, you can go to 24-hour fitness in Las Vegas while you're waiting 3 hours for your flight and get your wallet stolen out of your locker. Shout out and a big fuck you to the Walgreens and 24-hour fatness on the corner of Tropicana and Decatur for being cocksuckers.
We hate them. Fuck sugar and fuck theft.
No, in Las Vegas Metro, you guys are kind of slow responding to shit too. Like, they know who stole the wallet. And dude, once I get the identification of the guy that has my wallet, I don't even care about pressing charges. I'm just gonna break his fucking legs.
Yeah, I think that'd be much more better.
Shout out to the dude that's getting his legs broken for stealing the wallet.
So,
bitch.
Going back to the Jiu-Jitsu Academy, fuck that guy. Going back to the Jiu-Jitsu Academy, I feel like so many of them do have showers. Like, for example, Matt Young's in New York had it. When we went to train with what's his name? With Ramin and, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank?
Ralph Gracie, San Francisco. Jake Shields.
Jake Shields. There you go, Jake. Jake Shields, yeah. So
that was like the most casual way to name drop. Like, you forgot the name of the like pseudo celebrity guy.
Yeah.
Like, who's that one guy? Oh, Donald Trump. I don't know.
Jake Shields is definitely a bad motherfucker. I'll tell you that. Jake Shields, if you're listening, you a bad guy. This guy was just working leg locks with me because he came back from training with Danaher. We were going 6-minute rounds. He was tapping me like 7 times or something from stand up. But anyway, yeah. So, and even at the On It Academy in Austin, they had these really nice showers. I feel like a lot of gyms have showers.
You know what, the really nice showers, like the really really nice ones. So the Gracie University, the new one that they just opened up this year
in Torrance, that one.
Yeah, so the old Torrance Academy is pretty badass. This new one, you go in when you go into like a really nice health, like an Equinox.
Yeah. Like a Bay Club right down the street, like that.
Their locker room is better than Equinox in that you each get inside of your locker. There isn't just a plug-in; it's lit. It has a separate it has like a little cubby hole for your sandals, for your belt, for your shit, like your main stuff. And then there's I think 2 USB charging plugs where you can just plug a USB-A cable right into that motherfucker and charge your phone. You don't even need the power brick.
Dog, I'd pay for that shit. Like that pretty
cool. And then you can rent gis there. Like, you don't have to even have a gi.
Shit. And they'll wash it for you and stuff. Man.
Yeah, well, they just have them there.
Yeah.
Like gi laundering service at a gym, like this should be basic. This is easy.
Jump in there, train, give it back. You don't have to lug it around. And see, that's an
You
issue
don't
that
have
I
to
have.
own one.
See, that's so cool because when I travel, I always bring a gi and a no gi fit, right? Doesn't matter what, I always do. But the problem is, I generally have to go back to the hotel, which I will do, no problem, right? And get that laundry service, and it ends up being $30. But I'm like, well, I can go and train again, like the day before I leave, and then keep that dirty gi and then go and wash it when I get home.
The worst one I've done is in London. I had a gi and I straight up bought laundry soap, and I did it. I mean, I did this thoroughly. I took like a good 15 minutes to really wash the shit out of it in the bathtub and shower, and then like I tried to hang dry it, but like with the weather there, it didn't really dry fast enough. Yeah. So the rooms all had trouser presses. So it looked like this ironing board that like heated up, but it was meant to press your pants, like put the pleat in whatever the fuck it's for, right? Well, I like put the gi and like I sandwiched it closed, and like I had to switch rooms like 2 or 3 times. So I kept breaking the trouser presses at this hotel, but I dried my gi. And
hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
First of all, it was clean and smelled great because I put some elbow grease into making sure that this shit, like I got the good, the nice. It wasn't tied. It was whatever the fuck you get in London, but it was. Yeah,
they're equivalent. So after I trained in New York, so we went for like 3.5 hours, right? So it was like, I was super tired, and then like so I was telling Matt, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the hotel and I'm gonna have him do this laundry service like next day so I can get it back and go and train again. Yeah, so but it was 30. Yeah, but he was just like, why don't you just go to the laundromat like that? Take the subway and go to the laundromat like that. And like I was just like and like he looked at me like I was the biggest asshole, but I was just like I looked at him straight in his eyes. I'm like, I'm on vacation, I can't do that. I was like, fuck it, I paid the $30, man. I was gonna go. I mean, it was a limited amount of time that I was in the Big Apple. I wasn't gonna go sit there at a dry cleaner and watch my clothes go, you know what I mean? And just be like, hurry the fuck up, and then take it back and like hang it or something to hang dry. I'm like, get out of here.
So you haven't been to the hood in a while. To be fair, those are jail washers. They're way faster than you think.
Really?
Yeah. Like they're not like the ones
like they're the industrial ones.
Yeah, they are. Like your laundry is not. You can be done with everything like 40 minutes. Like 6 loads of shit be done. Yeah.
Damn.
And you like those aren't like with your washing machine at home, like you don't put that much stuff in there.
Yeah.
You can fill those motherfuckers all the way up.
Wow.
Like those are the industrial ones. They're done quick.
See, I'm fortunate because even when I did live in the hood, back when I used to live in East Oakland, the owner of the house, because I lived in like this little like a little in-law quarter in the back of the house. They had a washer and dryer outside in the backyard, so I'd use it. They were cool like that. But yeah, laundromats. The last time I would do that was in college. In college, because we didn't have it. We didn't have one in the complex that I lived in. So then we had to jump in the car and take it down the street or whatever.
Yeah, the only time I would really go to the laundromat to do laundry would be like if I was out of state for a long time, and I stayed at a house where maybe people smoked cigarettes or something, and I didn't want to just.
That makes sense, yeah.
So I would just take like all these like large bags of dirty laundry and go to the laundromat down the street and just throw everything in there, and then like literally an hour later you'd have everything back and done and all good.
That's so smart. I feel like
I just didn't want to make my house smell like that.
No, I think that's a great idea. I got to do that more often because I feel like if I do it once, I'll be like, why the hell haven't I done this before? This is not a big deal at all. I don't know, maybe because I was in New York, but let's say generally when I go to places, I rent a car. Next time I should do that, right? I mean, I can just go and wash my clothes. It'd be a nice feeling instead of tugging on all that dirty clothes, back home. I can just like wash it there, fold it, and come back home with nice, fresh, pressed linens. I don't know.
I also have the bad habit of overpacking. I don't bring way too much shit ever. Like I have, like
you got to bring the Yeezys.
I have like extra, like a whole other life of stuff in it, like another, basically in Nevada now.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't have to pack anything now. Like I left a whole other like version of this.
You got like a house there, right? On a vineyard.
Yeah. Like, basically, like I have like sneakers, my car.
Fuck man, that sounds hella nice, dog.
Half of my podcast gear, like all kinds of stuff. Just
your car.
Yeah, my car is literally right there. Like I don't have to really do anything. I don't have to really pack much. I even have like probably 2 gis just sitting there.
There you go.
And my other black belt. and no-gi stuff. Like I have, and even sneakers. Yeah. So that's how much I packed just being there for a month or two. And when I went to come back I was going to drive back and I looked at my tires and I'm like, yeah, that ain't going to work. I'm flying.
You have so much patience, man, to drive, especially being like, you're like, what, 6'2" as well? And then in a sedan, like going back and forth from Vegas like you would for so much. Like that's so commendable. I'd be like, no, I'm going to freaking fly and rent a car.
I would look at the cost of flying sometimes, and for a lot of cases I have miles for it because I would travel a lot.
Yeah.
And some where I didn't, and sometimes a flight can be $100, sometimes it's $300 or $400.
That's pretty expensive.
And then I'll look, I get pretty good deals on rental cars, and if it's like $75 one way,
yeah,
and I'm not putting any wear and tear on my own stuff, I'm putting the cheap gas in because it's just a rental car.
Mm-hmm.
And $100 later, it's only that, like, what's 8 hours? That's what you would sleep.
Yeah.
And so I would just go at night to where I don't have to worry about it being real hot and like spend a lot on gas. If the car does break down, I'm not burning my ass off in some heat. It's just a real chill drive.
And you just take a night drive, like just take some meth, bypass the traffic.
Definitely not on meth, but there's probably some 5-hour energies in there.
Sprinkled with meth.
Smear a little crack on it.
Yeah.
What is it? So the Vegas version of those, they're Rhino Rush energy drinks.
Okay, no, I was nodding my head because I thought you were talking about the pills. I feel like we've talked about this before.
No, these aren't the dick pills.
Okay.
This is like they have these at the also the gas station, but they have ephedrine in them. So
cool.
It's like remember the Stacker 2s back in the day?
No, but I know ephedrine in the red line drinks.
So these are with ephedrine or ephedra or whatever, and it's basically $1 extra. But yeah, it's like the
fuck, dude. It's like when you go to Starbucks, like extra espresso shot for $1. I'll take that.
Yeah,
get a little ephedra, get a little synthetic crack or whatever you want to call it in my freaking.
But the coffee drinks, man. I don't know. People they do it before jiu-jitsu. I'll shit my pants.
I'll do that with the cold brew.
And you don't have to crap?
No, I do. I'm saying with the cold brew, like the black cold brew, especially the one from Trader Joe's, dude, the nitrogen infused goes right through me.
And it's like this big ass coffee, and you drink it. You got the gurgles. You got to shit. You're gonna have to shit soon. Like, I can't train good when I have that.
Yeah,
I mean, because we would have guys come to 6:30 class, and they'd bring this big box from Phil's Coffee. Like, I brought donuts and coffee. I'm like, that's great.
Well, I mean, what are you at? I'm sorry for whoever did that, but what are you at an office or something?
No, they would do it all the time. It was Chernobyl would do it.
But so it's like, but what I don't understand is when I do jujitsu, I anticipate a lot of sweating, a workout, I'm dehydration, right? I'm losing a lot of liquid. Why would I want to drink coffee? A diuretic when I'm already fucking.
I don't know. I don't get the coffee before jiu-jitsu thing. And
yeah.
It's even a T-shirt, right? That coffee in jiu-jitsu.
I've seen I need coffee before my jiu-jitsu or like jiu-jitsu before my coffee.
Jiu-jitsu, I don't
listen
get
to what I'm
it.
saying. Yeah,
you can tell like the level or the maturity of a particular niche or industry based on the puns of the gear you have. You know what I mean? Like, so basketball has come a really long way, and Just Do It, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very established and it's mature, and like they're kind of above like the really corny shit.
Yeah.
But with jiu-jitsu, we have dude, I've had some fucking silly shit sent to me over the last year. 2 years.
I see that sometimes. I see the ads on Instagram because they do the ad targeting, and it's so bad.
Just the puns.
Yeah, so bad. It's so bad. It reminds me of. Did you see that for a while? Like they were advertising on Facebook, they would advertise shirts. Let's just say they saw that your birthday was in February, and then they saw that you like pro wrestling, and then they came up with this corny shirt that was like, let's say a picture of Hulk Hogan, and it said, "I was born in February and also love pro wrestling." Like. Buy it for like $19.99 or whatever. Like that big data, like analytics, like they throw all this garbage together. People are like, oh my God, that's me. I'm buying it.
Like, oh my God, Zazzle's my favorite. It knows me so well.
Etsy, you're speaking to my heart. The fuck, dude?
Yeah, it's really bad. And I don't want to like call out. Maybe I should do like a top 5 at some point of just horrible puns that I've seen in this industry of just stuff. And I don't want to make fun of any because some of these guys are like really nice sending me stuff, but I'm not wearing it.
What about BJJ Tour? Join the tour.
I like those guys.
I mean, I like them too. I love Claudio, but I'm like, join the tour. I don't know.
I think like probably some of those locations are harder to like get people really to like, because you're spreading yourself thin, right? It's expensive, and even IBJJF, I'm not convinced they're making a whole lot of money on a lot of those tournaments. But they are making a lot of money in memberships and all the other stuff. I know there's the thing on my wall right there was like $600 out of my pocket.
Oh yeah.
And then when I get my first degree this year, that's going to be another 175 plus another fucking whatever. I have to do a background check. I have to tell them I'm still not creepy.
Yeah.
Or officially. Or
what are we going to do when you get your first degree? We have to celebrate.
I don't think that's a thing. That's like literally, no, we're not doing math. Like your first degree black belt literally in jiu-jitsu literally means like you got older and you still do it.
No, but dog, you get your stripe, right?
There's a stripe, yeah.
What's up then? Okay, then we got to do something for your stripe, bro.
But I'm not 4. I don't think we do. I don't think. No, I'm fine. Like we're good. Like
okay.
I don't think we need anything for.
We're gonna come over after training. We do a little whiskey on the rocks. We celebrate.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. So here's the thing. Like I'm always kind of like a stickler about like symmetry, and I already have the instructor stripes on my belt. So adding the first stripe, it's gonna be 3. And I'm not like it's not symmetric anymore, so I'm kind of like I'm not really looking forward to it actually.
There will be more, my friend.
That's like it's a real thing. It's actually like a real like it's like a neurosis, and I'm kind of like dreading it in that aspect a little bit. Like I don't think I'll wear the instructor stripes anymore.
And we all have different tendencies of things like that. I have mine.
I think like I would be a big fan of the construction in the Victorian era. Probably not so much of the plumbing or like lack of HVAC or like
right.
Like,
deodorant.
I'd be like, oh man, this is awesome. Everything's symmetrical. There's a window here, window there. Everything matches, but there's no soap, and everything smells like buttholes.
Yeah.
Do you think if you're in this, like, if you're back in the 1700s, like, because everything smells like butthole, does nothing smell like butthole? Is just the smell of butthole just normal?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like that's why everyone would get so faded all the time. I feel like the alcoholism and just like moonshine was just so apparent because it was just such a terrible time. And I mean, you had no vaccination. People were like, fuck, dude, like life sucks. Let's just drink ourselves to death. And at the same time, they would walk around with those like flowers, remember? And they would like smell it because I know they would do this in Europe, especially during the plague time, because people were dying left and right and their bodies rotting in the streets. Like, oh my God, that smells terrible. Let me smell this flower real quick and mask that. Can you imagine that? We never have to deal with that stuff.
What flower is going to mask the smell of plague?
Well, I mean, because dog, they didn't have Febreze back then.
It's like, I smell rotting cousin.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was such a bad time. Can you imagine that?
Petunia as I watch this, like there's like animals eating this corpse over here. Let me just smell this petunia real quick.
I feel like back then people all they would want to do is like drink or like I don't know, maybe do meth or something.
I don't think there was meth then. There weren't even paint chips then. When did opium happen?
Opium happened. I remember this because in my class at Cal, my undergrad, I took a class called Drugs in the Brain, and David Presti, MD, PhD, was my professor. I still remember because he was a freaking awesome guy. And I volunteered with him at the VA, and he would tell me all these crazy, like, fascinating stories. And now I would appreciate it so much more because back then I didn't know, whatever. It was just fascinating to me because I would see it on TV. But now, with what you hear about certain things like the DMTs and the ayahuasca, and you hear about people doing it, you're like, oh wow, like I want to find out like the origins of this, right? So he is like that ethnobotanist wizard. I'm like totally hyping him up. And he described to me how they started in China and they brought it over like the West Indies or whatever. And then it kind of through like the Genghis Khan time, it went down and how they brought it into Afghanistan and the poppies and brought it over here. But that stuff's like super fascinating to me of how they came up with it, like how it was synthesized and how they marketed it for better or worse.
Yeah, the opium dems, right?
Yeah. I also watched this documentary on Netflix about like cocaine and like its origin and synthesis and how like it goes from like, let's say, the jungles of Colombia and Peru and Bolivia to Miami, and just like the cost of it. And like, and I'm a numbers guy. I love numbers, right? Just because like I like P&L statements. And it talks about like, all right, the market price of this is like 1,000, and then as it goes through this boat into this country and get into Central America, now it's marketed at 5, and then this one kingpin that bought this island, and when they take those speedboats to that island, now it's at this price, and then that final push into Miami Harbor or whatever brings it up to this price. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of cool.
Did you watch Cocaine Cowboys?
I did. Yeah.
What'd you think?
That was really fascinating how they would just like take these planes and just be like, screw it. They would crash. They would crash them into these little puddle jumpers. They would just leave them. They'd be like, bye. Because the cargo was like 10x more apparently than the plane itself. Like that is, to me, I can't even wrap my head around that. That's so crazy to me. In the 80s and just like that.
Think of what a plane costs. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, bro. They were like, they would fly over this little island and they would have like 5, 6, 7 planes just rotting away. Whatever.
What was the show everyone said to watch a few years ago? Narcos.
Narcos that's a good one.
It was good.
I like it a lot. Narcos and El Chapo. El Chapo's a really good one as well. So much so where I think it's as good, if not a little bit better.
So what's the premise of El Chapo? Was that just about the guy?
Yeah, same thing as Pablo Escobar, right? So Pablo Escobar would get it to the El Chapo and those guys, which would get it in. At that point, the Medellin cartel from this documentary, they say controlled 4 to 5 of when people want to like do whatever, like coke, like they make those lines. Like 4 out of 5 of those were from the Medellin cartel. And most of that was also getting via the Sinaloa cartel into the States, right? So they were kind of like working together. So it basically, they would pass the baton to one another, right? Like an assembly line. So I feel like Narcos would cover the South America version. And then once it got through Central America, it would go into that. And it talked about the narco terror that happens in Mexico with the Juarez cartel and the Sinaloa cartel and the Guadalajara cartel and yada, yada, yada. I look at that just like I did, with organized crime in the East Coast, with like the 5 families in New York. I just, I get fascinated by that type of crime and whatever, you know what I mean? Just seeing it, kind of like a fan.
So I spent like a lot of time just growing up in New York, New Jersey, but Juarez is way scarier.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I've been to Juarez.
Really?
Yeah, Juarez is crazy.
I'm sure it is.
It's more intense in Tijuana. Tijuana is like much smaller. Like Juarez is just really busy.
Really?
And yeah, I think it's really funny. Within the first 5 minutes of being in Juarez, and this is like years ago, like 20 years ago, I went to Juarez. Funny. We crossed the border on foot in El Paso into Juarez, right? And we're immediately offered meth.
There you go. Why does it go back to?
It
always goes back
to. It's really
to
funny.
meth.
Like he brought a meth. Like we were offered meth by like some taxi driver. Like he like immediately like because they were just
what you need.
Yeah, like
what you need. Bota coca que.
Yeah, the yellow cab came right up. And fucking offered us meth.
Within
no time at all.
There's a lot of entrepreneurs there, man.
There's a lot of entrepreneurship there. The same in Tijuana. The taxi drivers there, they have like this whole thing. They can only. They try to take you to certain businesses. Like they get like incentivized, like the yellow cabs to take you to like the pharmacies or like the gentlemen's clubs, whatever you want to call them, or other things like that. Like they're incentivized to do that. But there's certain places like that the yellow cabs can stop, but the black ones can't. And it's crazy. Like they have they work their certain hustles and stuff. It's interesting to see. But like probably safer on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather stream it, bro, than live it.
Yeah, there's some stuff where it's like you have these like wanderlust people, like where they want to go all over the world and climb Mount Everest, and it's like that's cool. Yeah, but I bet the Blu-ray is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's way too much for me. I geek out about the underworld and what goes on behind and behind the surface, kind of like let's say even like a House of Cards, if you will, with our government. I just like those conspiracy things and what goes. I guess I get a kick out of it. That's why I get excited about watching those types of things.
So, what's your honest take on Khabib and Conor coming up on the Saturday at UFC? What is it? 129?
229.
229, that's right.
229,
okay,
yeah.
229. So my thought is basically, Connor's going to come out strong. He's going to be looking to, move, right? He's really great at covering distance, moving, being hard to hit. And he's got that, he's very heavy-handed, right?
Yeah.
Very dynamic in terms of movement.
That Celtic cross, man.
What I'm expecting is something that's going to go between 3 and 5 rounds. And it's just going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a tough fight. I don't think Connor's going to get off that big shot. I don't think he's going to start in like the Jose Aldo thing. I know people are saying, don't sleep on Connor. And it's like, betting against him has proven to be pretty, non-fruitful for many a better, historically. But, do I think that Khabib is just going to impose his will the entire time? I think Conor will defend some of those takedowns initially, but not all of them. And I think as the fight wears on, it's going to favor Khabib, just his stubbornness. I think he'll eventually break Conor, and I think he'll get him somewhere between 3 and 5.
Yeah, I mean that's a great way of looking at it. I think that's a great breakdown. I think if Khabib can be mindful and prevent what happened with Conor and Eddie Alvarez, Eddie Alvarez being the wrestler, he caught him, bro. He caught him once and then and Eddie was done. So I'm sure throughout this whole camp, Khabib has been mindful of his striking and working that. I mean, DC's boxing coach, Rosario Sanchez, is a freaking awesome boxing coach, and I'm sure that he's been working with him a lot to be mindful of those hands and keeping that chin down. He has a tendency to raise that chin a little bit, So I think if he can keep the chin down, and his cardio is fantastic, he's super healthy, and he's naturally bigger than Conor, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he apparently walks around like something like 195 or 200 or so.
That's crazy. That's more than me.
And this is a 155er.
Right? Yeah.
And I mean...
He struggles to make 155. Conor used to make 145. Right.
Well, Conor was a 145 champion until he vacated both titles, right?
Yeah. So I mean, Conor. So we know that he's bigger, right? So imposing the will, gaining that top control like a wrestler likes. His wrist control is just freaking amazing. And I think it was Rogan who said it. Like, he is a lightweight who feels like a middleweight or a welterweight or something, just bigger. Just he's like a blanket. He suffocates you. So I agree with you on that. I see Khabib being smarter, keeping his chin down, avoiding that left cross, and dominating.
Yeah, but there's a probability of it's him baiting Khabib, right?
Yeah,
it could go that way. I think he's counting on getting in his head. Getting to him emotionally, the stuff about the father, stuff about Putin, just really getting in his head.
Yeah.
Going back to the bus incident and stuff. Khabib seemed to keep his composure. I'm going to stick to my story, and somewhere between 3 and 5. We can go with 4 just for safekeeping, right?
Yeah.
But I'd say just by exhaustion, that's what's going to happen. He's gonna. I think he's gonna break Conor's will, and he's gonna. What I've heard. What's been said so far is that, Khabib is going to take this title. He's gonna. He wants to beat the UFC's Dana's poster boy and retire.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and he's only interested in coming out of retirement or fighting again if it's a super fight like a GSP.
I can see that because Eagles MMA has taken up so much in Russia. He has a very good facility there now. I can see him just going back there and just living like a freaking, king. Yep. Especially with that Conor money, bro.
Yeah.
And his ties to Russia.
Here's the thing, though. Because the Conor money for this fight for Khabib that we're seeing domestically, it's something, but I mean, he becomes a national hero there. He becomes a hero, in Russia. I'm sure Fedor is the guy still, but in terms of that country, that region of the world, and just the level of star power he probably has as an athlete, he has to be at least number 1 and number 2, big star there. How Conor would be in Ireland.
Yeah, I can see
how
that.
Anderson Silva was in Brazil.
Yeah.
right? So,
I can see that, and especially with certain faiths, like Khabib being a devout Muslim, these days the Muslim society, just because of like geopolitics and terrorism and what's been going on in the world, they've been getting like a pretty bad rap, right? And I feel that with Khabib, like it shows them like in a positive light, like as a fighter, kind of like how Muhammad Ali was, let's say, right? I'm not saying that the two are the same, but like that. So I feel like in that whole region of the world, let's say Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, all through the Middle East, right? All those countries, we'll get behind him for that as well. So Russia being 150 million, the largest country in the world, but he also has that whole 2 billion population. Thank you. Which will also help. So yeah, you're right. His popularity and his fandom is just like skyrocketing.
yeah, he's handling it. He's handling it well. It's funny. Conor was trying to goad him into drinking. During the press conference, he's sponsoring it with his
Irish
proper
whiskey.
12 or proper Irish whiskey or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get him to drink, and he said, "I don't drink." He's like, "Why don't you drink?" And he's like, "I just don't drink." Like, he didn't go there.
Yeah.
And like I was wondering if Conor was going to slip and like make some kind of like anti-Islamic,
Yeah.
I was waiting for it, and I think he bit his tongue at the right moment. I think he was trying to get him to say something.
Yeah. See, if I was Conor, like, yeah, he provokes. Especially these days, though, I probably would sidestep from that, especially considering
No, that's a bad one.
the United Kingdom. There's a lot of them there. I feel like they're going to get very angry, and they're going to, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, I could fuck with some fools. I could talk shit, like, to the Diaz brothers, fuck Stockton or whatever. I live in Dublin, Ireland, they're not going to touch me, whatever. But that's another ball game, dog. That's barking up the wrong tree.
yeah, you don't do that. Like, that would be the dumbest thing he could possibly do. It's
like, what are you doing, you idiot? Now you really have to be scared.
Yeah, like he goes to a certain level, but then before it gets stupid, like he cuts it off. Like he didn't go too far.
Yeah.
With the he didn't go too far with any of it. I mean,
Yeah.
he cut it off. He made the Putin thing. He made there was the final game of whatever the hell it was last year. And Conor went and took a picture with Vladimir Putin.
Right. The World Cup. Right? Yeah. I remember that.
So Vladimir Putin, like he gets a photo with Conor, and then but what's his name? Khabib didn't. So I don't want to take a picture. He's like, "Why don't you want to take a picture of your president?" He's like, "Dude, he's just like a modest guy. Like he's just like not like this guy that like sits there and takes selfies and smiles for pictures." And like, I'm sure he has a great relationship with the guy.
I can tell you firsthand. I've seen him turn people down. For pictures in a nice way, like in the locker room.
You think he's like a modest dude?
Yeah, he walked in with his entourage and he was talking. He was just very quiet. They were all like around him, but he wasn't like loud. And like when I see DC in the locker room, DC's so energetic and he's such a good speaker and he's such a great analyst, right? You can hear DC across the gym, and you've been there. That gym's not small. So when you see DC in the locker room, he's like, wow, he's lively, and you just want to watch him and be in his aura, right? He's like a showman in a way. Khabib is the complete opposite, very quiet, very like that. And some people, maybe like from the regular classes, they do boxing, kickboxing, they would see him there. I'm just like a fly on the wall. And they were like, Khabib, do you mind? Can I take a photo with you? And he's like, what is your name? And then he'd be like, brother, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not taking a photo, but please, it's so nice to meet you. And like, you check out, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't rude about it. But to your point, I'm piggybacking on what you said. You're right. He's just kind of like,
He's a modest dude.
Yeah, he's a modest dude. Keeps himself, He's like, whatever.
He's really just a professional athlete, and he's not. A lot of people just do this stuff for the likes or for the whatever. And like, he's really the kind of an athlete in its purest form. Like he's just like really just a sportsman. He's a pretty modest dude.
Yeah, he'll go around and shake all of your hands. Let's say let's just say you were at pro practice and you were there to help like with the guys with some of like their jiu-jitsu, let's just say, and you're in the corner and he sees you. There's that guy, I've never seen him before. He'll walk up to you and be like, I'm Khabib, nice to meet you. What's your name? Like that. You know what I mean? Like super, like you said, nice guy, keeps to himself, very polite. Ant says a lot of good things about him too. Anthony tells me, like we talk about him, and it's like, yeah, he's so nice. He's such a cool guy.
So
that'll be interesting.
So who El Kukui is on the undercard? Is that the co-main event?
No, he's co-main event. Yeah,
Co-main event. Okay.
with Pettis.
What else is coming up? Well, John Jones.
EBI just happened last weekend. I haven't watched all of them yet. I usually like to watch all of them.
John Jones snitching.
John Jones, yeah. Apparently that's what they say, right? So they say that DC has to vacate his light heavyweight, correct me if I'm wrong?
Has to, but
for Jones and Gustafson?
They requested it for Gustafson Jones too, which is like...
What happened? I thought Gustafson was going to fight Luke.
It's I don't know. It's just a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's talented, but maybe. I mean, if every single time he's gotten to that level... he's failed tests or just showed like literally no fucking character. Like just the
Jones?
Yeah,
yeah. He has that like feeling. Remember when he was in that press conference and he's always trying to be like much better, right? Just to win the audience. And DC was like trashing him, you know? And then he came back. I think he just had enough of it. And he was like, man, I beat you after a weekend of cocaine or something like that. Remember when he said that out loud? Like,
something.
It was something like that, yeah.
And, well, he got mad. Remember, they were doing the press conference thing. Like he pushed DC on the stage because he's like he called him like a fucking crackhead or something.
Right? Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah.
Funny,
yeah.
But
and sandblasting a prostitute.
Yeah, he was reinstated after 15 months after his last failure for tainted supplements, where he turns in all 15 supplements to USADA. USADA goes and buys all the other supplements off the shelf because you have to disclose where you bought them.
Right.
They go and they test all the shit from the store that he bought them at, including the samples he provided. Nothing came back. There was nothing tainted. Literally nothing
Wow.
he had, and nothing at the places he bought them from had any traces of anything. Right?
Yeah.
But he didn't fail any more tests after that. So if there were really tainted supplements and they couldn't identify it from the ones he supplied, he should still fail tests.
Right.
But he fucking didn't. He's starting past the test. That means he changed something else, which means he was full of shit to begin with about supplements being tainted. We knew that.
Yeah,
But it's just benefit of the doubt, like, because whatever. So they have a loophole, basically, that if you're willing to cooperate and basically rat on people that are higher up the food chain than you are, they'll reinstate you. But you have to.
But who's more higher up the food chain than John Jones?
The NFL.
Oh, you're talking about different sports. Interesting.
USADA's USADA, WADA's WADA.
You're right. I never even thought of that.
And where do his brothers work?
NFL.
And who does he probably have access through by way of his brothers?
Trainers.
Doctors. Bigger money, bigger fish.
That's the motherfucking NFL.
NFL.
Yeah.
Don't know, because I don't really...
It's a good way of looking at it.
Does USADA give a shit about anybody from that fucking camp? From New Mexico? Who would they care about? Name one fighter bigger than him that they would even give a shit about. Because lower than him, why would they care?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like who's even close to him, and I can't. I mean, Holly Holm, no.
No, suppliers, right? They're looking for suppliers. They know where to come in. So, like, that's...
Cowboy.
Because otherwise, like, there was no other reason for them to... 15-month suspension, it's always in sixes.
Yeah.
So for them to actually say, okay, we're doing a 15-month suspension... Like, coincidentally, it just sort of lines up with UFC's fight calendar where you can stick them in a big fight around, New Year's.
Have you seen... Yeah, that's a good point. Have you seen it work in the opposite? Have you seen people mistakenly getting tainted supplements and then USADA going and purchasing them and getting them off the hook? I'm pretty sure that happened with Tim Means.
It has happened, but it's not often.
Yeah, that's true.
And the point is, even if it does come back tainted, you're still responsible for what you put in your body. And just because it's not on the list then doesn't mean it's not going to. And if those ingredients are there, you're still responsible for the shit that's in your food.
Yeah,
the shit
yeah.
that's in your supplements.
That's super like nerve-wracking, huh? You can imagine
Is it?
getting ready for a fight. And you're just like, I mean, I guess, yeah, if you hire someone to ensure that, then that's different. Like you have a nutritionist and you have everyone to ensure that everything is all like checked. I don't know.
Is it nerve-wracking I think it's less nerve-wracking if you know you aren't cheating. I honestly think like
Yeah.
if you're not trying to like, if you're not already in that mindset of trying to find like every little like loophole and every little way to like get that 1% advantage, right? I think so, but I think some of these guys just like their chances of being that next level or that top level are just like so slim that they have to. And then they have a psychological like reliance on it now. Like they have a dependence.
Bro, speaking of that, remember when USADA came in the mix? Who can we think of that completely dropped off the mat? I know the first person I think of, Johnny Big Rick Hendricks.
Oh, he was gone.
Who?
Well, no,
After that GSP fight, who?
Well, it wasn't USADA. He didn't necessarily fail, right? He kept being overweight and like Dana dogged him bad because he opened that steakhouse in Texas.
Yeah.
And he kept missing weight and his career was fucked after he came out and said he only like gave like 70% when he was fighting GSP. Like he was only doing 70%. And Dana's like, well, you should have fucking done 100, huh? You're sitting here complaining about the decision, but you only fought 70%. Like that thing buried him, and then he missed weight bad like several times. So I don't know.
He did. It was really bad. Yeah.
What about TRT Vitor?
That wheel kick to Luke.
Yeah. Then like you saw him after, like he went from being like Iron Man to having tits.
Yeah. He was a big one too. Vanderlei. Allegedly.
Well, he was exonerated from all charges. Like,
remember he like ran?
He left.
He was like, meep. Fucking roadrunner.
Who was the one that hit under the ring or hit under the cage? Was that Jones?
Oh yeah,
like, all day and like pissed his pants.
Yes.
Who was
I remember that story. I'm trying to remember who that was. I think it was John Jones at Jackson Wink. Was it when Cerrone? I think Cerrone told the story, if I'm not mistaken.
Was that it? He, like USADA was like waiting for me, like was under the ring like all day.
Yeah.
Not wanting to take the test.
I'm pretty sure that was John Jones.
That's pretty funny.
Hey, they gone.
Yeah, Vanderlei Silva just
get DoorDash, like goes, go to the fucking octagon, look under, deliver Pokeball there.
Man. Well, now the way they do out of competition testing or whatever, like they can show up at your house like
6 a.m.
Anytime. Yeah, they'll come wake you up to come piss.
Even at 4, I'd be like,
yep,
pissing.
Well, no, if you don't take it, then like that's grounds for like that 2-year suspension shit.
Can I pee and then flip them off at the same time then? Because like if you wake me up at 4, I kind of want to. But then again, you want to play nice with USADA. Huh? You don't want them being like, you know what, meth.
I don't know, man. Well, like the way, so you have to basically, I think you have to fill 2 cups.
Really? It's filled 2 cups.
Because there's an A sample, B sample.
Yeah. Well.
Just to make sure.
Wow.
And have you ever taken like a piss test for anything like official or serious?
I mean, like I have at Quest Diagnostics, but not USADA, right? Not like that, like Olympic level testing that they do,
or anything like that.
No.
Okay, so they're watching your dick piss into the cup.
Oh.
Like the stream, it has to be visible.
Okay. I've
Yeah.
I've done it for other things.
It's awkward. It's awkward.
Yeah,
it's really awkward. So yeah, you're probably just sitting there trying like to pee.
I can see that.
Yeah, so maybe come in the middle of the night might be a good idea. Like, just drink a glass of water before.
I generally do that anyway. So I'm just like I down water. It's like I wake up like in the morning and it's just like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay.
Every time I've ever had to take any sort of drug test in my life, it's like ridiculous that for whatever luck, it was like 5 minutes after I just peed.
Oh, really?
And then it's all awkward. And I sound like I'm not being honest. I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
So then it takes a second, but
y'all got any water here?
There's always more.
Any beer? Lagunitas?
There will always be more piss.
Yeah.
There'll always be more piss.
Oh, yeah.
There'll always be.
Well, my man.
It's 1,000 o'clock.
Yeah. I know you have to teach. I'm assuming you teach in the morning. I got to be up early in the morning.
I'm just going to go punch people tomorrow.
Nice. There you go. I like doing that. I'm going to do that on tomorrow night and Friday.
Tomorrow night's no-gi.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to do some sparring afterwards with Vu. Mm-hmm. And then Friday I'm going to come to sparring. But No kicks. I'm just gonna work straight boxing because I don't want to aggravate this baby right here anymore for U.S. Open.
I
And
thought I was a diabetic one. That foot's fucking swollen, man.
Yeah, look at that, huh? Caralho.
Yeah, you have like this cartoon foot. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I know. Does it show my toughness, bro?
No, you have a broken foot.
Yeah, I'm still going strong. Hey, you want to know something? I ran a 5K yesterday and this morning.
Dude, your foot's broken.
No, I don't think so, man.
Are you fucking drunk?
It's not broken.
Dude, that thing's double the size. It's like Fred Flintstone's foot. Your foot is broken.
No, man. If it was broken, it would be hurting when I'm walking. It would hurt a lot. I wouldn't be able to do what I do if it was broken, Clinton.
That's broken. Your foot's broken.
Bro, I'm like running on it. I'm going and subbing people. I'm just like come on.
Your foot is twice the size of the other foot. It looks like a cartoon. That is fucking broken. That's a hairline fracture at least.
Maybe a hairline.
Which is a you got like
wait, it's a difference if it's broken or fractured, right?
Well,
broken is a clean break. Fracture's right.
Well, technically, it's both broken, but it could be a compound fracture or it could be a hairline fracture. It's still broken.
Well, I don't need to be on my feet. I don't need to be on my feet to choke people out. So whatever.
If I had a pane of glass and there was like a little crack in it, or there's a big crack and the whole thing shattered, I'd replace it either way, right?
Yeah.
Because the window's fucking broken. Your foot's broken.
So
I'd say fucking get an X-ray at least, and like put some CBD on that shit.
Dude, I mean, I've been doing that.
But
I got this laser.
You're also still running a 5K.
Yeah, it's still getting better. So I should go get an X-ray?
You look like Fred Flintstone. That's fucking huge.
Okay.
Honestly, from far earlier, I was like, I did it anyway. You cut me, but earlier, like I saw your foot, I was like, you have huge feet. And I was just so.
Damn. Okay. All right, then I will get an X-ray. Then I should hit him up.
He has big feet. I've never seen that before, and I was like,
it's that bad, huh? Okay.
All
it can
right.
be like a micro little bone. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
All right. So Nima Moridi. That's at the Ninja Realtor on Instagram.
That's me. Be my friend, like me. I follow back. I'm nice. Y'all looking to buy or sell real estate in Silicon Valley in the Greater Bay Area? You know who to reach out to as well. I represent both buyers and sellers. 7 days a week. We're always open for business. So get at me about that. Al Moridi team. We are at Intero Real Estate Services in Cupertino. And I am Nima Moridi, also known as your Ninja Realtor here in Silicon Valley. And that's Clint Cronin.
Yeah, you can find me wherever high quality on demand digital audio may be downloaded and or streamed. YouTube, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and iHeartRadio. And if you use any of those Google or Amazon streaming services, you can find me on there with Amazon Alexa, all that stuff. Just ask for the Clint Cronin Show. Like, share, subscribe at Clint Cronin on Instagram, and be sure and get Yeez and all other fine, high quality California design local business stuff from Want vs. Need. That's my sponsor, showing some love. WantVsNeed.com. And this is episode 80. Nima Moridi, the Ninja Realtor, coming to you from San Jose, Sunnyvale, California.